Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Praveen Kumar Vamsit. Today we'll see one of the PLSQL real-time scenario, that is Aadhar and Pan link status. Okay, now we'll understand the requirement. Okay, so requirement is that what? So we need to enter the PAN number and Aadhar number. So once we user clicked on this view link Aadhar status, we need to check whether it is linked or not. Okay, so before checking the status, so we need to do the validation, basic validation. What is the basic validation? So we'll check whether PAN number is valid or not and Aadhar number is valid or not. Okay, so if Aadhar number is not valid, we need to get the user message like, please enter a valid Aadhar number. Suppose if PAN and Aadhar are valid, enter. And also like we need to check like what, suppose if it is already linked, we need to show the user message like your PAN is already linked to the given Aadhar number. Okay. So if it is already linked, we need to show this message. Suppose if it's not linked, so we need to throw the error message like your Aadhar and PAN is not linked. Please try to link before deadline. Okay, so these are the validation, basic validations we need to do. Hope this requirement is clear. Okay. Now, if we want to solve this requirement, you should have better understanding of the DDL, like creation of a table, DML is nothing but insertion of a record, TCL is nothing but transaction control, that is commit, and DRL is nothing but data retrieval language, that is select statement. Okay. So these are the SQL statement, you should aware of it. And you see what happened, we should use substr. Okay, it is used to extract some part of the string. Okay, substr. Okay. So filtering concept is nothing but so where class and unclass. Okay. So count is an aggregate functions to find the number of records. So procedure, okay, so procedure, we should know what is procedure, how to write a procedure, and how to call a procedure. So we should have in and out parameters and to-char functionality and data types. So like number, we should use number, varchar we should use here. Okay. And pipe symbol to concat any two strings. So conditional statements, if and end if. Exception handler. Okay, so anonymous block to execute a procedure. Okay, so we should know all this. If you know this concept, it is easy to understand or it is easy to clear, like it is easy to solve this requirement. Okay, so let us discuss some topics. So pipe symbol, what is the pipe symbol? It is used to combine two strings. Okay, syntax is like string one, string two. If I want to combine two strings, we should make so pipe symbol or concat operator. So see this thing, example. Okay, PLSQL and developer. Okay, I want to get the output as PLSQL and developer. For this purpose, we'll make so PLSQL, pipe symbol, ampersand, and developer. Okay, so from dual table. Okay, so like if you want to club or combine two strings, we should go for what? Pipe symbol or concat operator. Okay. Hope this is clear. Okay. In a similar fashion, now we'll see count. So count is an aggregate function. This is to find number of records. Assume like this is my what? Assume like this is my PAN card details. Okay. Suppose we put count of star, it will do 2 records. But what? So we're using the filtering concept. Okay, where PAN number equal to see this PAN number is also output will be 1. Okay, so if I put select count of star from PAN card details, we'll get 2 records. But I want to get specific records, like so we should get output as 1. Okay, so this is what count is nothing but it's an aggregate function. This is to find number of records in a particular table. Now in a similar fashion, what? So we'll see simple procedure. Okay, how to write a procedure. So this is syntax: create or replace procedure, procedure name. So as begin and end. Okay, so here what? So create or replace procedure, procedure name. So as begin. So this is the execution block. We try the code here. So what is DBMS output? This is to see the result on the console. Okay, so see what happened. This is the procedure we have written. Suppose if we want to see the result, we should execute this procedure. How can we execute this procedure? By using anonymous block. Okay, begin end. So this is the procedure name we need to give, and this is the end. Okay, so if you want to execute any procedure, we should go for either anonymous block. Okay, so begin, procedure name, end. So output will be like hello world. Okay, so this is the way we can able to execute any procedure. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, and in similar fashion, now we'll see this is what is earlier. If and if is nothing but it's a conditional statement. If I want to do any conditions in PLSQL, we should go for if and else. Okay. So see, this is simple example I'm taking. Create or replace procedure, procedure name as begin. So what simple? Okay, I want to compare two numbers. Okay, like which is like I want to check like whether 100 is greater or 50 is greater. Okay, so for this purpose, what I'm using if and else condition. Okay. Suppose if 100 is greater than 50, then I want this place. So 100 is greater than 50. Suppose if it is false, it will go to the else block. 50 is greater than 100. Okay. So we know that what we know that first condition is true, then output will be 100 is greater than 50. Now, how can we execute this procedure? We should go for anonymous block. Okay. So using anonymous block, begin procedure name, we should pass. Okay, procedure name, and you can able to get the output. So output is what? 100 is greater than 50. Okay. So now we have seen like how to write a procedure, how to execute a procedure, and how to handle the conditions by using if and else if. Okay, now we'll see the actual requirement. Our requirement is that we need to check whether Aadhar and Pan are linked to each other or not. Okay, so we'll see the one more time the requirement. So user need to enter the PAN number and Aadhar number. So So these are the two input parameters, and we should give the output message. Okay, one more time. So these are the input messages, input parameters from the user, and we need to do the validation, and we need to give the output parameter to the user. Okay. So see what happened. So we need to do the basic validation, nothing but like, so we need to check whether PAN number is valid or not. If it is valid PAN number, no need to do anything. If it is an error, we should show like error invalid PAN, please retry. Suppose PAN is right, then what happened? We need to check the Aadhaar. Suppose if it is Aadhaar number is wrong, we should write like, please enter a valid Aadhaar number. Okay. Suppose like if PAN and Aadhaar are already linked, then we should show like, so already linked to each other. Okay. Suppose if it is not linked, we need to show the error message like, your Aadhaar and PAN is not linked to each other. Please write a link before deadline. Hope this requirement is clear. Okay. Now, for this purpose, what we need to create a tables. So create table PAN card details. Okay. So in this table, we are having PAN number, name, date of birth. Okay, 3 columns are there. So PAN number, name, date of birth. Okay. So I'm inserting some dummy records. So insert into PAN card details, PAN card details. Okay, 2 records I'm inserting. I want to commit those transaction using TCL. Okay. So 1 table created, 2 records inserted, and 1 commit. So to store the data permanently. Okay. In a similar fashion, I want to create one more table that is for Aadhaar card details. It is having Aadhaar number, name, date of birth. Okay. The same thing. Okay. So Aadhaar. Okay. So this is what happened. So same 2 examples like Praveen and Kumar. So 2 examples like PAN number and Aadhaar number are different. So see what happened. I committed this transaction. Okay. So Aadhaar card details, created table, inserted 2 records, and what committed those transactions. Okay. So 2 records has been done. Okay. Now what happened? 2 tables are. Now we need to create one more table for. So see what is this table? Aadhaar PAN link status. Okay. So by this table, we can able to say whether either Aadhaar and PAN link to each other or not. So I'm populating some dummy data. See Aadhaar PAN link status. So I'm taking what? Okay. So okay. See what happened? One Pravin's Aadhaar number, and so like it's a dummy record. So it's not a valid record. So okay, what happened? I'm putting like link status equal to Y in the sense like it's already linked. If it is N in the sense like it is not linked. Okay. So one more time. So it is, so this Aadhaar number or PAN card, and what happened? I'm putting Y. Y is nothing but what? It's already linked. Okay. 50% in the sense like it is not linked to each other. Okay. So I committed those transaction based on station. Okay. So this is important table. Okay. So 3 tables. Okay. One PAN card table, one Aadhaar card table, and one more thing is PAN and Aadhaar card linked to each other. Okay. Table. Okay. So by this table, you can able to figure out whether those are linked to each other or not. Okay. Now for this purpose, like we'll see the data. See. So PAN card details, it is having 2 records, and Aadhaar card having 2 records, and what happened? Aadhaar card details. Okay, so Aadhaar card. So this is okay. By mistake, this is what. So this table is what PAN card, Aadhaar card links to. Okay, so this is the erroneous. Okay, see what happened. So see this thing. Okay, so CS triple one. Okay, so CS 3133. Okay, see what happened. These 3 tables, these 2 tables are linked to each other. Okay, so now we'll write one procedure. Okay, so if you want to do this code repeatedly, we should go for procedure. So now Aadhaar and PAN link check procedure. So create or replace procedure. So I'm giving what? Aadhaar PAN link proc. Proc is not, but it's a procedure. So it is having P PAN number, P Aadhaar number. Okay. So P message. Okay. 2 input parameters, nothing but what? Okay. So these are the input parameters. These parameters are coming from the user. Okay. And these out parameters are not coming from the database developer. Okay. We need to do the validation and we need to go to the user, end user. Okay. One more time. So PAN number is entering by the user and Aadhaar number is also entering by the user. So we need to do some validations, and based on that validation, we need to give the error message or proper message to the user by using out parameter, 2 input parameters and 1 output parameter. Now what happens? So some local variables. Okay, these are the local variables. L code, L PAN name, L Aadhaar name. Okay, some like local variables I'm taking. Okay, and I'm writing some exceptions. Okay, invalid. So this is what declaration of the exceptions. Okay, invalid PAN exception, invalid Aadhaar exception, and one more is what? Status PAN Aadhaar exception. Okay, see, okay, local variables and 3 exceptions I am writing. Okay, 2 input parameters, 1 output parameters. These are the local variables and these are the exception declarations of exception. So now what happened? Now we'll write the actual code in the execution section. So what I'm trying to do, select count of star into L count from PAN card details where PAN number equal to P PAN number. Okay, see what I'm first condition what we'll check. So we'll check whether the PAN number is valid or not. Okay, if record is there, the what? Suppose if we go back here and if see what happened, if record is not there, what happened? L count will be 0. Then what happened? We can raise the exception. Right? So first step is declaration of exception. Second step is the raising the exception. So L count equal to 0 in the sense like what? There is no record. Then we can raise it. Okay, so invalid PAN exception. Okay, first we need to take the input. So take the PAN card number from the user and we do the validation. Validation purpose, validation, what we are doing validation here, what? So we are checking whether the PAN number is valid or not. How can we check the PAN number is valid or not? We are checking the count. If count equal to 1 in the sense like what? So it's a valid PAN number. If the count is not equal to 1 in the sense like what? So it is not there. Okay, in the sense like what? It will be 0. So 0 equal to 0 condition true, then it will raise the invalid PAN exception. In a similar fashion, so we need to do one more count. What is that count for? This is for what? So this is the Aadhaar card details. So now this is validation is for whether the Aadhaar number is valid or not. So valid or not in the sense like what? So valid in the sense like what? So Aadhaar number will be there in the database table. Okay, if it is there, we will get the count 1. If it is not there, what? We'll get the count as 0. Okay. Now what happens when 0 equal to 0? This condition is true. So then we need to raise the invalid Aadhaar exception. So this is what? This is the Aadhaar validation of an Aadhaar number. Okay, so one more time. So I need to check whether the Aadhaar number is valid or not. How can we check whether the Aadhaar number is valid or not? Okay, if it is already there in the table, then it's a like we'll get 1. If it is not there in the sense like what, we'll get 0. So 0 equal to 0 condition is true, then we'll raise the invalid Aadhaar exception. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, now we into one more time. Okay, now what happened? We need to do one more thing. Okay, so select the count of star into L count. So from Aadhaar PAN link status, where PAN number and Aadhaar number record. See what you see. And one more thing is that what? Okay, so go back here. Now what we check? We need to check whether the user entered PAN number and user number Aadhaar number is there in the Aadhaar PAN link status. And one more condition we need to check is what? We need to check whether the status equal to Y. Status equal to Y in the sense like what? It's already linked. Okay. When it is Y in the sense like what? This Aadhaar number and PAN number are linked to each other. So one more time. So we are checking Aadhaar PAN link status. This is a table. So we need to check the PAN number and Aadhaar number. So both are like suppose like when the user enter valid PAN number, so valid it will be count will be 1. And one more condition we need to add is what? So we'll check the status. Okay. So based on the status, we can able to say like what? It's a link to each other. Suppose if no record, suppose if see what happens. Suppose if valid number, valid PAN number, and valid, but what happened if it is N in the sense like what? So this count will be 0. So 0 equal to 0 in the sense like what? So we can say status PAN Aadhaar exception. Okay. So hope this is clear. Okay. So vintage, this is the important condition. Okay. Now what happens? Suppose all the exceptions are like okay satisfied. Then what happens? Suppose it will be, now we need to extract why this one we need to extract first two and last two characters. Okay. So because we should not show the sensitive information to the user. Okay. So we should hide this in nothing but masking concept. Okay. How can you do masking concept using sub-str? Okay. So first two and last two and masking these things. Okay. And in a similar fashion, what we need to do Aadhaar number. Okay. First two and last two and remaining X like this. Okay. Now final message what? Your PAN L PAN number like masking PAN number is already linked to given Aadhaar number. Okay. So one more time. So this is what we are doing masking. Okay. We should not enter. We should not give like complete information like complete PAN information to the user. Okay. So we should masking those things. How can you do masking by using sub-str? Okay. First two, last two, and remaining X. First two, last two, and remaining X. Okay. So this is the complete message we need to show to the user. Okay. So if it is like it's a valid PAN number, valid Aadhaar number, and what it's already linked, then we should show the user the same message. Okay. Suppose if it is not handled, we should go to the exception block. Okay. So what the exception we define 3 exceptions. That is when invalid PAN exception. So error invalid PAN, please retry. Okay. So this is what. So if user entered invalid PAN number, we trace the error message. In a similar fashion, invalid Aadhaar exception. Okay. So this is what please enter valid Aadhaar number. Okay. So this is PAN card validation and Aadhaar card validation. And one more thing is that what status PAN Aadhaar exception. So this is what. Okay. So this is what. So we need to check whether. So suppose these two conditions are satisfied, and we need to check whether PAN and Aadhaar linked or not. Okay. So if it is N, so we should show the error message. Right? Please, your Aadhaar and PAN is not linked. Please try to link before deadline. Oh, this is clear. Okay. Now we'll see one more time so that it will be clear. Okay. So what happened now? So I'm creating one procedure. Okay. It is having create or replace procedure. Procedure name Aadhaar PAN link proc. Okay. It is having 2 parameters. Okay. So 2 input parameters. Like input. Remember one thing. Input parameters are nothing but user entered values. Okay. So PAN number and Aadhaar number is user entering values, and we need to. So our parameters is nothing but what from the database developer we are doing some validation and we are giving this revisor to the front end and they will display to the user. Okay. So 2 input parameters and 1 output parameter. Okay. So these are the local variables L count, L PAN number, L Aadhaar number, And these are the exceptions. Okay, invalid PAN exception, invalid Aadhaar exception, and exception. Okay, so status PAN, Aadhaar exception. Okay, remember one thing. So these are the local variables. Okay, see, P underscore is nothing but parameters, L underscore is nothing but local variables, and these are the exception. These are three are declaring the exceptions. Okay, so this is clear. Okay, now we'll come to the what. So this is the execution block. So now what? So before what I said earlier, so we need to do the validation. Okay, so L count from PAN card details, PAN card number. Okay, so what we are doing? Okay, so we are checking whether the PAN number is valid or not. Okay, if PAN number is valid, L count will be 1. Okay, if it is invalid, what? L count will be 0. Now what happens? 0 equal to 0, then we will raise the exception. Okay, 0 equal to 0, raise invalid PAN exception. Okay, so this is what PAN card validation. In a similar fashion, we need to do for Aadhaar. Okay, so same thing. Okay, count L count. Okay, so what we are doing? So this is, so we need to check the Aadhaar number. Okay, so if Aadhaar number equal to is there, then what happened? It will be 1. So 1 equal to 0, it is failed, then it won't go to the if condition. Okay, suppose one more time, if see 1 equal to 0 is what? Condition failed, then it won't go to inside the if block. If condition is true in the sense like what? 0 equal to in the sense like what? It's not a valid Aadhaar, then it will go to the this thing and it will raise the exception. So this is what? Invalid Aadhaar exception. And it directly go to the exception block. Okay. So in a similar fashion, we need to check what? Okay, so one more table that is nothing but Aadhaar PAN link status. Okay, so we need to check PAN number, Aadhaar number. Okay, see what happens. So we need to check whether the PAN number, Aadhaar number is there, and what happened. And one more thing is that what? So this is important. Okay, so we need to check whether it's already linked or not by using Y status. So in a similar fashion, what? Suppose see if it is linked, it will be 1. So this condition will be failed and it won't go to this block. Suppose if see it is not linked, then it will be 0 equal to 0, then raise the exception, and this will directly go to the exception block. Okay, so hope this is clear. Okay, suppose like okay, all exceptions are handled. Now suppose like it's satisfied. Now what happened? So we need to do the masking. So why we want to do masking? Because so PAN number and other numbers are sensitive information. So this we need to do well, like we should not show entire message. Okay, so we will take first two parts, first two characters, and last. How can we do? By using summation. Okay, and remaining thing we should go for masking concept. Okay, in a similar fashion, other number also same thing. First two and last two. Okay, so 1, 2 in the sense like what? Extract first two characters, and -2 in the sense like what? Extract last two characters. Okay, and remaining characters we need to put XX. So this is nothing but masking concept. Okay, so your PAN, so PAN number is already linked to given Aadhaar number. Okay, so this is the user message. Okay, if all the exceptions are satisfied, then we'll go to this block and we need to give this message to the user. Hope this is clear. Suppose like so now what happened? We need to handle the exception. How can you handle exception? By using exception handler. Okay, so this is what? Invalid PAN exception. Okay, so error invalid PAN, please treat. Okay, so this is what? Invalid PAN. Okay, so so this is what so this we need to handle this exception. Okay, in a similar fashion, invalid Aadhaar exception. Okay, so what happened? Please enter a valid Aadhaar number. Okay, so in a similar fashion, status PAN Aadhaar exception. So we need to do. Okay, so Aadhaar and PAN is not linked. So please try to link before deadline. Okay, so this is nothing but these are the exception handler. Okay, so to the end user, we need to say we need to communicate properly. How can you communicate properly? By using handling, based on the exception handler. So by using P message. Okay, invalid PAN. Please enter a valid Aadhaar number. Okay, your Aadhaar is not linked. Please try to link before. These are nothing but exception handler. Okay, so we should give proper message to the end user so that they can able to understand. Okay, what is XC? Okay, so the hope this is clear. Okay, so these are the exception handler. Okay, now what we need to? Now we need to execute this procedure. Okay, now we have it written. Now we'll try with dummy Aadhaar number and dummy PAN. Okay, so what happens? So this is what? This is anonymous block. Okay, so we are executing this process by using anonymous. So what happened? P PAN number. So these are the input parameters and P Aadhaar number. Okay, see what happens. So this is the out parameter from the database developer we are giving to the user. So see what happens. So if I want to see result, we should go for dvms output dot put line. Okay, result. So see this thing, this is anonymous block. So we need to procedure name and this is the parameters. Okay, PAN number. This is the user entered PAN number and user entered Aadhaar number, and we are giving this result values to the user. Okay, see what happened. Now this is the table. Okay, PAN card data. First validation is what? We want to check whether the PAN number is there. See, is it a valid? See, it is not a valid. So we should say the error message like, okay, in error invalid PAN replaced it. Okay, see this thing. So this is not there in the database. Okay, so this is what? This is an invalid PAN. So please return. So we should show this user message to the user. Okay, so see like this we can able to show invalid PAN. Please return. Okay, so this is what? First validation. Second validation is what? Aadhaar number. We'll see this thing. Okay. So declare. So result. Procedure name. This is what? Okay, PAN number. And this is the Aadhaar number. and result. Okay, see DBMS output. Remember one thing, DBMS output is used to see the result and the concepts. This is what, so whatever we're doing, nothing but it's a unit testing. Okay, so we should test for positive and negative scenarios. Okay, so see this thing, now this is the PAN table. See what happened, so PAN number is already there. Okay, so this is a valid PAN number. Okay, now we going to check what, so one more table, this is other details. We check, see other number is not valid. See what happened, so we'll get the error message. Okay, so first validation is what, PAN number is already valid. Okay, so now we'll check the other details table. See, this is annual, so that's why we got please enter a valid Aadhaar number. Okay, so this is what we'll get the error message, like please enter valid Aadhaar number. In a similar fashion, now see what happened. Okay, so Aadhaar, okay, so PAN number. Now see, this is what Aadhaar PAN link status. Okay, see, so it's a valid PAN number and valid Aadhaar number. Okay, see, already linked. Okay, see Y status is link status equal Y in the sense like it's already linked. Okay, so we should give what, we should give like your PAN is already linked to given Aadhaar number. Okay, so why we are getting like CS3D? See why we are getting CS3D? They are extracting first two and last two by using what, substring concept. So in a similar fashion, you see Aadhaar number is also first two and last two by using substring and remaining excess. Okay, this is nothing but masking concept. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, so this is what, so if already linked, now what happened, we need to say like, okay, your PAN, so masking concept is all linked to given Aadhaar. Okay, so this is the positive scenario. Okay, now see, we will see one more. Okay, so we'll get the error like this. Okay, so okay, your PAN is already linked to given Aadhaar. Okay, so this is the positive scenario. Okay, now see what happened. Now we'll see one more negative scenario. Okay, see PAN number, Aadhaar number, so P message. Okay, so DBMS output to see the result of the concept. Now what happened? See, okay, ABCD double. Okay, so it's a valid PAN number, so valid Aadhaar number, but what, see, it is link status equal to N in the sense like it is not linked. Okay, these two are not linked. Okay, now what happened, we need to say like your Aadhaar and PAN is not linked, please set link before deadline. Okay, so this is what, one more validation. Okay, so what is one, see PAN already, it's a valid PAN number, it's a valid Aadhaar number, but what happened, it is not linked to each other. Then what happened, we say like it's okay, please try to link before deadline. Okay, so this is the important. Okay, now in a similar fashion, we'll get the error message like this, your Aadhaar and PAN is not linked, please try to link before deadline. Hope this is clear. Okay, so remember one thing, when you're writing anything, no, like we should follow some coding standards. Okay, like parameters. Okay, you should write P underscore parameter, like okay, P PAN number, so P Aadhaar number. Okay, like we should follow like this, so that what, it's easy to understand, was to somebody understand, easily understand. Local variables. Okay, we should write it L underscore count. In a similar fashion, like function, procedure, package names are self-explanatory in the sense like what, see Aadhaar PAN link. So by this we can able to say like, okay, whether Aadhaar ping PAN link proc, this is a procedure for Aadhaar and PAN link. Okay, so you can able to easily understand. Okay, so this is there. If you want, so like, okay, see, if you like this coding standards, you need to follow, okay, regularly, okay, when you're writing anything. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, and one more important update is that what, okay, from April 3rd, we are starting a new SQL and PLSQL batch. Okay, so like if you want to expert like me, you can able to join, and you can able to reach out to this number so that you can able to get more information. Okay, and one more update is that what, suppose if you know SQL and PLSQL, if you want to upskill to Snowflake, so it is like, okay, if you know SQL, you can able to easily learn Snowflake. Okay, so one more batch is starting on April 3rd. Okay, so this also like, okay, it's a cloud-based data warehouse. Okay, so like if it's a cloud related thing, okay, like if you want to like, if you want to get more details, you can able to reach out to this number. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, thank you for watching.